This week on Previews World Weekly, we unpack the horror that is Willy's Wonderland, discuss gatekeeping in comics, and we have a special guest explain to you guys what's going on in WandaVision. It's all happening right now on Previews World Weekly.
What's up, Previews World? It's Wednesday. It's New Comic Book Day. What's going on with my hair? Hold on a second here.
Couldn't tell you. Oh, you do have like an alfalfa moment.
I got a little spit curl thing going here. But welcome to Previews World Weekly, where we give you hair tips to make it through 2021. I'm one of your hosts, Troy Jeffrey Allen.
I'm your other host, Ashton Greenwood, aka the Duchess of Free Comic Book Day, with your weekly reminder to mark your calendars for August 14th for Free Comic Book Day this year.
Yes. Keep it, lock it, keep it safe, but also let other people know that is what's going on. It's going to be March this year, guys. It's going to be, what date did you say?
Don't confuse them. August 14th.
August 14th. Sorry. And there's going to be an announcement on what date? Sorry.
Yeah, so we're announcing the titles next month. March 16th will be the gold sponsor titles, first 12 books, and then March 18th will be the rest of the books, the remaining 39 books.
Yeah, so don't do what I just did. I just got the two dates mixed up and almost said the wrong date for actual Free Comic Book Day, but it's March. You're going to get the announcements. August, You're going to get the comics, and then you get the money, and then you get the power. So there you go. So that's a plan. That's the ultimate plan. Ashton, I don't know if you're a big Mortal Kombat fan. Did you catch the Mortal Kombat trailer at all?
I did not. This was passingly a thing I was interested in as a kid or whatever, but it's not a thing. I was just like, oh, that's cool.
Mortal Kombat's interesting because I never really had much of an interest in it, and I was always more of a Street Fighter kid, and there was something kind of, I don't want to offend any Mortal Kombat fans, but there was always something kind of a little too edgelord for it to me. Edgelord to it for me. They got in trouble for it. The game has gotten in trouble with the government for its violence. That was definitely a focal point at one point in time in the 90s. And I just always thought it was oh, it's so edgy. Whatever. I don't care about that. But I know a lot of people are very, very excited for the new Mortal Kombat trailer. And I couldn't do an episode of Previews World Weekly without mentioning it because it's definitely nerd adjacent. It's definitely everybody on the message board is talking about it. But also the thing that everybody was talking about is a Jezebel article. That dropped the same day, I believe it was, that the Mortal Kombat trailer dropped. And you know what? I'm going to say this is a troll. I'm going to say 100% this is a troll. But basically, Jezebel posted this article that said, who forgot to invite Chun Li to Mortal Kombat, right? The movie. And Twitter blew up. Twitter was like, oh, you guys don't know that Chun Li's a Street Fighter character. She's not a Mortal Kombat character. You guys are stupid. And you know what? At first, I was like, haha, Jezebel sucks. But then I was like, you know what? This is a troll. This is a troll within a troll. You know what I mean? It's the inception of trolls. I think Jezebel, look, I don't know how you feel about Jezebel, but I kind of, based on some of the noises you made when I mentioned their name, I can only guess.
My opinion is not sparkling for that.
I think that's totally fair. I remember once upon a time they were the feminist website to go to, but I think after a while they kind of overplayed their hand a little bit and kind of proved that they were just I'll say it that it was a grift, like most things on the internet that gets people upset. And I think this recent article, which says pretty blatantly in a couple of paragraphs down, says, but being the astute film critic that I am, because we're talking about Mortal Kombat, I immediately clocked a glaring error in the film where in all of the realms is Chun Li. Is there a battle for the fate of the earth? Then don't we need all of the greatest warriors gathered? Which would include Chun-Li and her spinning bird kick that can knock a man's head clean off. Now, later they add a little amendment to the bottom saying update at 4:39 p.m. Jezebel has discovered the answer to our question about Chun-Li's erasure. And it is that Chun-Li is not part of the Mortal Kombat megaverse. Wow. I'm like, this is such a troll. And I kind of want to give it to them because I'm like, you guys are aware of the fact that the internet was going to just jump all over you. The nerds are going to jump all over you. That maybe Jezebel's a website, depending on who you are, doesn't have the most glowing, it doesn't get the most glowing recommendations from people. And so they kind of, it was fascinating. It was just it was just layers upon layers of trolling. It was somewhat masterful, I think. So I don't know. So Anyway, if you're interested in Mortal Kombat trailer, let us know in the comments below. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'll see it. This one is going to be on HBO Max. So I've already paid for HBO Max, so maybe I'll just watch it just for the heck of it, just to talk about it. But yeah, Mortal Kombat, not really my thing. More of a Street Fighter guy. One thing, now I said all that, but speaking of edgelords, right? Like this Willy's Wonderland trailer that's been floating around the internet lately. Ashton, I'm gonna let you handle this. Like, what do you think?
Bro, okay, look, how much time do I have?
I got broed. Okay, let's do this.
This trailer is a mess. It is a damn mess, start to finish. So, like, if just to give you some background, if you're not aware, Willy's Wonderland is this blatant knockoff of Five Nights at Freddy's, starring everybody's favorite Nicolas Cage, doing his weird, hey, I'm a wacky guy shtick yet again. And it just goes through the steps of, like, literally what is Five Nights at Freddy's, but they've added in all of this extra weird stuff to, I guess, make it less of a ripoff. But so it's got this weird mascot with an enormous neck that I can only imagine is a ferret, maybe, but like the animatronic version of it is just a nightmare. It is just this hellscape, ambiguous animal thing. And there's a lot to unpack. Okay, so he gets hired to clean Willy's Wonderland, like, you know, Five Nights at Freddy's and all that. And this group of kids show up and they tell him about, like, the history behind Willy's Wonderland and people die in there and all that. And then it just busts out in this, like, crazy fighting montage where he's, like, beating the animatronics with a mop handle and, like, putting duct tape on his face for what I thought was no discernible reason.
Yeah, sure.
And then for no reason at all, in the dead center of the trailer, is just like this sexy shot of girl like unzipping her shirt. And I'm like, I'm not sure what this is about. Who's having sex at this place? Why are you doing that?
No,
there's the mega creepy, like, it's your birthday song. And I was like, I hate all of this.
Yeah, it was weird. Like I kind of, like, when I heard about it, I was like, well, maybe this will be brilliant in, like, a very weird way. And I saw the trailer. First of all, I'm going to watch it because it is a mess. Like, as Ashton has so perfectly put it, it is a mess. But like, I was hoping for, you know, it's almost like be careful what you ask for. I was hoping for B-movie schlock, like, just, like, you know, absurdity at the highest level. And I walked away being like, man, like, that's exactly what I wanted it to be, but at the same time, not what I wanted it to be. I actually wonder, well, going into it, I was curious, like, I was like, I was like, it would have been cool if they actually utilized a Five Nights at Freddy's franchise here, like, made a movie with this. Like, you know, they're doing Sonic the Hedgehog and Detective Pikachu, and, you know, it's always like the character now goes into the real world, right? And, like, how we interact with that fictional world. So I was like, that would have been really cool if they had done that. That was going into the trailer. Then I saw the trailer. I was like, okay, this might actually be too much for even Five Nights at Freddy's. I've never played Five Nights at Freddy's. I know you have, so maybe you can tell me. But it seemed like it was actually too much for what I've seen so far.
Yeah, two things here. One, there is this, like, long gestating Five Nights at Freddy's movie in the work that's written by the original game creator, Scott Cawthorn. And he's kind of held off on it for so long because of what exactly Willy's Wonderland is. And he's always said, like, it needs to have some sort of plot. It can't just be this campy, like, randomly fighting animatronics in the middle of the night. And the other thing that happens in Willy's Wonderland that is very not like Five Nights at Freddy's is the animatronics fighting back. Like, there's a scene where, like, this ostrich ferret looking thing, like, grabs the mop from him. And I'm like, what is this?
So wait, the monsters in Five Nights at Freddy's don't fight back? They do attack people, right?
They attack you, but I assume if you went to hit it baseball style with a mop handle, that it wouldn't just grab it out of your hand like a person.
I see what you mean. Interesting.
And the other thing is, like, they're not like proactively fighting you as you fight them. Like, they lurk and they sneak up on you and they're waiting until you're not watching.
Yeah. The few videos I've seen, like, is like kind of like you turn out a light, it gets closer, you turn out the light again, it's closer, that sort of thing. Okay, now I see what you mean. All right. That actually kind of, like, explains a lot. So it is the people who made Five Nights at Freddy were already making a movie, and this is just definitely not the type of movie that they wanted to make. But I'm not going to lie. I'm going to seek it out. Like, I might not even seek out the Mortal Kombat movie, but I'm going to hunt down this movie and watch it just so particularly you and I can compare notes. So I hope to God you watch it too.
I definitely am. Like, I feel like I have to.
So, all right, Johnny's telling us to let's move on. So we're going to switch gears and talk about what you guys really came here to see. Comic books. So here it is. What's at comic shops? Ashton and I are going to give you our picks this week, and then we're going to talk a little bit more about what's available. Let's go. And as always, I just want to remind you guys to let us know what you're reading this week. And if you can't play along right now, then you can. You just didn't realize it yet. You can go on over to PREVIEWsworld.com/new releases and see everything that's available at your local comic shop this week and every week. Like if you go back, if you pop in on today, you'll see the next 2 weeks already listed on the site. And if you come back 3 weeks from now, it'll be a similar arrangement. So definitely check it out. You keep up to date, update your pull list, and let people know what you're reading this week in the comments below. So Ashton, I'm gonna let you go first. What is your pick this week?
Okay, so you lobbed this off as like our comic book picks, which is a little awkward because I'm not picking comics this week. I'm picking figures. Funko is releasing its line of Candyland Pops, which I'm incredibly excited about. So they have King Candy, Mr. Jolly, Mr. Mint, and Queen Frostine. And I just think these are so cute. Like the details here are really, really good because there's a lot of like small details in Candyland, and I appreciate that those didn't go overlooked. I played a lot of Candyland as a kid. Like it was something that was like my cousins and I did it a lot. So this is very close to my heart. Queen Frostine is like the most important character. My baby cousin had a crush on him when we were little. Like he was like a toddler, and I still tease him about it to this day. He's like 21 now, and he will not let it go. So I'm going to make it a point to be like, I'm going to seek this Funko Pop out for him and be like, here's your girlfriend.
Right, you're finally together.
Yeah, I hope they take this all the way though, because I'm noticing there's no like the lollipop lady, Princess Lolly, or like Lord Licorice, or like the weird like fudge gelatinous mud looking guy. I want them to fully commit to this Candyland thing.
Oh, the fudge looking guy. That's right. Yeah. God, I just remember that. Like I'm sitting there like, I don't remember Candyland that much. I remember playing with the pieces to Candyland more than actually playing Candyland, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, okay. I do remember. I actually do remember more than I thought I did. So there you go. You know, all right, cool. Now, I mean, hey, look, comic shops have toys, and these toys are definitely going to your local comic shop. So why not get you some Candyland? And while you're also there, for you 90s kids like myself who grew up on 90s comics, or more particularly 90s trading cards, IDW actually is releasing a book of the Hildebrandt Brothers. It's called The Marvel Art of the Brothers Hildebrandt. And if you're not familiar, back in the 90s, this brotherly duo used to make these really cool trading cards for Marvel. And like they did, like, you know, every major character, they did a whole set of them. You can see some of the artwork here, and they were just phenomenal, fully painted, like they were fully painted, just absolutely gorgeous. And so IDW has collected some of their best art, and like all their Marvel art in particular, and are compiling it into this nice, cool hardcover. And it's going to be available in the comic shop this week. Yeah, it's cool. It's not realistic like Alex Ross is, but it has enough realism to it and enough exaggeration to it that it's cool. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, definitely check that out. It's going for $60, but it's like a nice hardcover. Like it's just, you know, it's nice little, like, you know, if you're the type of geek like I am, where you try to geek with your pinky out, you can make it a coffee table. You know, you can make it a coffee table book. So definitely check that out. That's available this week, not from Marvel, but from IDW. So that's available. I also want to point out this week, guys, is the final week, actually the final couple of days for Hakes Americana's auction. And so what I want to show you guys is what's available to bid on this week from Hakes. And when we come back, I'll explain a little bit more about what Hakes is and how you can get involved. Check it out.
Hakes Auctions is the premier source for all manner of Americana and collectibles, and auction number 231 is now open for bidding. Here are some of the amazing items that you can find over at Hakes.com. Be sure to check out the full auction by visiting Hakes.com. Closing dates for items in auction 231 are February 24th to 25th. Hakes, America's first collectibles auction house.
And so, yeah, I just want to point out that the first set of auction items ends today, but there's going to be a second set of auction items. It's also going to end tomorrow. So it's stretched out over 2 days. You can find out more at Hakes.com. And look, I mean, it's an auction. Like, I mean, it's exactly how it sounds, but it's all online. So similar to eBay, you get to go online and bid on things. And like, there are some high price items. I'm not going to lie to you guys, right? There's some big ticket numbers in there. I definitely saw the first appearance of Spider-Man and a couple other things on that list from the last couple of weeks. But what you can also get is some affordable things. So like, you know, if you're just, look, I'll be honest with you. I've been in house for the last like year, basically. And all I've been doing is spending money on food. That's why I got the fat cheeks. And I like, you know, and I have been just like, you know, saving money. So I'm like, all right, I can splurge here and there and like, you know, get something nice for myself that I never really considered. Maybe I should get Amazing Fantasy number 15. That's all I'm saying. I'm just putting that little nugget in your ear, guys. It's the last 2 days. Hakes, of course, will be back in a couple more months with a new auction. But if you want to check it out, go to Hakes.com and get on it right now. So big thing that happened this past week, right?
We're going to start. Comment.
Oh, we have a comment. Items in auction really hitting hard in the nostalgia fields. There you go. Thank you very much. Gumblade X6. Darren J. Jackson. We know this is DJ.
Oh boy.
Gee, some of that stuff is I have to sell my house to get anything on there.
All right. Look,
there are some items in there. There are some items in there that are expensive, but not everything's super expensive. This is true. Brian Blevins, PREVIEWsworld. I just want to know how excited Troy Jeffrey Allen was interviewing the Todd father, and did he get any one-on-one time off camera? How nervous were you? Well, I actually interviewed Todd McFarlane twice. So this is actually the second time I've interviewed him. And like, you know what? Funny thing about Todd McFarlane, he just goes. So you just present a question to him and he runs with it, and you let that enthusiasm sweep you, and it actually makes for a fun interview. It's actually a lot of fun. So yeah, definitely. And actually, that was actually going to be the next thing I was going to talk about was the Spawn universe thing. So thanks for lobbing that up for me, guys. So Todd McFarlane late last week announced ahead of Comics Pro, but also elaborated at, during Comics Pro on Thursday, he announced the Spawn universe, which I'm going to call Initiative, which is basically him expanding out the Spawn line to multiple other books that'll be focusing more on other Spawn characters, but also characters within the Spawn universe. And so I know some of you are probably going like, oh, like Sam and Twitch, he already did that. Spawn Dark Ages, he already did that. Yes, he has done that. But this is really getting into the nitty gritty, like digging your hands into this whole thing and seeing how the world, you can explore the world and do different things with it. And the really exciting thing about it is that, you know, Todd, great artist, clearly has gone the distance in terms of writing this series for the longest time. There's an interview from yesterday. But the cool thing for me about this is it's not just going to be Todd McFarlane. It's going to be, and I'm going to read every single one of these off for you guys. Art Adams, who is legit one of my personal favorite artists of all time. Jason Sean Alexander, Carlo Barbary, Brett Booth, who just put out X-Men Legends. J. Scott Campbell, of course, you guys know him from Gen 13 and Danger Girl. Greg Capullo, who has a legendary run on Batman. Donny Cates, you know, we all know Donny Cates, Thanos, Cosmic Ghost Rider. Currently the writer of Thor and the King in Black. Jim Cheung, who's another classic Marvel artist at this point. Mike DeMundo, Javier Fernandez, David Finch, another classic Marvel artist. Jonathan Gleppion, Kevin Keane, Alice Cott, Puppeteer Lee, who I really hope is a puppeteer. I don't know if that's true. Sean Lewis, Sean Gordon Murphy, Ben Oliver, Stefan Segovia is a fan favorite, Paula Sequena, Mark Silvestri, Marcio Takara, and for me personally, my other all-time favorite artist, Frank Quietly. And so they're all going to be doing different Spawn books and helping Todd McFarlane fill out these this universe that he's already established. But again, he just wants to pad it out and do more with it. So if you didn't get a chance to watch the interview yesterday, it's currently on our YouTube. Don't skip this show. But after you're done, go check out that interview from yesterday because I'm actually excited. I'll be real with you. I've never been a big Spawn person. Like I've always liked. I've been more into the toys than the actual comic itself because the character looks cool, like, you know. And
like
objectively the character looks cool. And I got in. I like, you know, he announced this and I was like, you know what, A, the creator's involved, but also B, I kind of feel like this makes it makes so much sense that it kind of hurts. Like, you know, it's like Spawn should have been an expanded line of titles. Like he's introduced these characters as toys and all this other stuff. Let's get into it. Let's see what makes him tick, what makes him interesting. So yeah, Darren Jackson. That's right, DJ. All-star lineup. Can't wait. Yeah, it's a great lineup. So it's really impressive. All the best to Todd. And you can find out more about that when these books drop in June. And I think that means they will be in the April previews catalog. So not this previews catalog, but the next previews catalog. All right, let's talk a little bit about, sorry, I forgot where it was for a second. WandaVision. There you go. Ooh. So Ashton, we're going to ostracize you for a second because I know you're not into the whole WandaVision thing, right? That's okay, whatever.
I feel like I'm being very heavily peer pressured though, because like yesterday night at dinner, my brother was like, "Are you really not watching WandaVision?" I was like, "Why did you say it like that?"
Right, yeah, with so much judgment. I mean, look, it's. I don't know. Johnny, you want to come in here for a second?
I can come in here.
Okay. This is Johnny Rose, production manager, our resident, well, he's our production manager, but also he's...
and I'm also out of the house. I'm in the office, so it feels nice to get out of the house.
Right. But Johnny and I are actually watching WandaVision. That's no shade to Ashton because I feel like at this point I feel bad because I feel like Ashton's like I'm shaming her every week, and I'm not shaming you. Look, the show is fine. Like the show is okay. Like I think it's decent, but where it's going, I think is actually the thing that excites me the most about it. And it just so happens that instead of me trying to explain what has been going on in WandaVision, I'm going to let a special guest come on. Johnny, you want to?
Well, let me lob this up. So, I have obviously, Troy, as you know, a lot of people when they first started WandaVision, they were having problems trying to figure out what was going on. It's like it's in black and white. It's in this old 4:3 aspect ratio. You know, they wasn't Vision dead? Who knows? We are here to try and break it down for you. So we're going to simplify it and let our roving reporter Carter explain it to you.
WandaVision explained by a 4-year-old.
That's Carter. Wanda's magic was going crazy, and the Vision went in the circus, and they tried to get out, and Agnes took the twins, and Captain Rambo tried to get into the Hacks. They gave her superpowers. They tried to go talk to Wanda, and they got into a fight. And then Agnes took Wanda, and Wanda couldn't find the twins. And she looked in the basement, and it was Agatha all along. She killed Sparky too. The end.
This has been WandaVision explained by a 4-year-old.
With Carter.
And there you go. You're all caught up.
There you go. You know what? Actually, I'm going to give him credit. That was very accurate. Actually, that was a pretty accurate description of what happened in the last episode.
In all honesty, I kind of had to feed him lines.
Okay,
he is a 4-year-old, so his memory retention isn't that great. And yes, that is my son, so I get to free talent. We don't have to pay him.
There you go. Right.
I pay him in treats and M&M's. So.
Hey, you don't even pay us in treats and M&M's. What the heck, John?
Yeah, where are my M&M's?
Hey, you're getting your Grimace Funko Pop on Friday, so
I can't wait.
See how Ashton's loyalty is purchasable, guys. See how this works. But anyway, Johnny, real quick. So we saw WandaVision last week, right? Carter did a great explanation of what actually happened that episode. I'm a little iffy on some aspects of it, but I'm glad that they finally let the cat out of the bag and you can finally get your bragging rights, Johnny. Agatha was behind it all along. You've been saying this for a while, but you also been saying
no, not me. Like honestly, not me, because I'm not familiar with like the Agatha Harkness characters. Like I know she got introduced. I know she got introduced as a governess to Franklin Richards for the Fantastic Four years and years ago, and kind of like migrated over into Wanda's circle. But yeah, I as soon as the show came out, I started doing a whole bunch of like searches online, and they started saying, "Oh, Agnes, Agatha Harkness." It was just it's so obvious. That's eventually what it ended up being. But it was nice for like finally to have some vindication of like, that it was, the internet was right. It was Agatha Harkness. But the thing I love about this, and the thing I love about any kind of like pop culture phenomenon, is the memes that come out of this. Yeah. And one was the reveal, or at least this week, it's the reveal that it was Agatha Harkness. So not only was she responsible for all the other, all the bad stuff that's going on in Westview, but apparently, and I wrote Game of Thrones season 8 too.
Oh, petty.
And I greenlit the Snyder Cut too.
Oh, that's low blow.
Oh, and I made X-Men Origins Wolverine. This one, I have to give this next one like the internet credit for this one because the internet will work fast. But and I broke up that
too soon. Internet.
Too soon.
Way too soon. Internet.
Way too soon. Like the same day that this episode aired was the same day that Daft Punk apparently made the announcement that they were breaking up. So I was like,
oh really?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what the timing was. But yeah.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, I didn't even know about it until I guess a couple of days later. But interesting.
And like Saturday morning, there was that meme. I'm like, oh my god, internet, you're just too quick. But also, I killed Sparky too. John Wick.
Oh my god.
That one coming from the folks over at Looper. And then
if anybody can get inside the hex, is John Wick.
And lastly, one of my favorites was anytime you can introduce the Pepe Sylvia meme from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, when someone asks what WandaVision's about.
Oh boy.
Legit.
But one thing I didn't notice was something that you pointed out to me, Troy, was a certain cameo appearance in the show from one of these performers.
Yeah. So I'm not completely convinced that Marvel's starting to implement the X-Men into the MCU just yet. And like I say that just because like everything I've read has indicated that they're kind of putting that not on the back burner, but they're developing that and like as they're going, but they're focused primarily on seems like the Fantastic Four and whatever this multiverse of madness is going to entail that might potentially connect to it. But now I'm not too sure anymore because someone else pointed this out to me in the circus scene where Vision when he wakes up in the back inside the hex at the top of the episode, there's a bunch of circus performers and he's in a circus along with Darcy. And someone pointed this out to me in the background is this character who, it could be nothing, but I kind of feel like it's not. And she's clearly embodying the Phoenix. And so here's my thing. Like I made a kind of like offhanded statement. I think it was on the show or maybe I just said it online. But that the M-Cron crystal, right? And it's going to get very dorky for a second, but the M-Cron crystal is the
that's what we do here.
That's what we do here. The M-Cron crystal is the nexus of all realities, right? And I've seen some people say that the book that Agatha Harkness has is the nexus of all realities. And in the Marvel universe, there's a bunch of things that kind of alter reality or gateways to different multiverses and whatnot. But the M-Cron crystal is definitely one of them. And to see someone in Phoenix gear, it just kind of seemed really blatant to me that was like a very clear nod to Jean Grey and the Dark Phoenix. And that to me just kind of like threw all my expectations out the window. I was like, well, I don't know what they're going to do now. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know where this is going. So yeah, I'm curious. I'm very curious. And now like I thought I knew everything and then they changed all the rules. So we'll see. We'll see what's going on in WandaVision. But yeah, thanks Johnny for showing us those memes. I actually did see some of those earlier. So that's actually pretty hilarious. So guys, I mentioned the catalog earlier today. And we weren't going to let the episode go by without mentioning the fact that there's a new previews catalog out this week. It is for March. We always release it a couple of days ahead of the end of the month. And these are items with them in the March catalog that are going to be coming out in May. So we got Gretchen here, and she's going to show you some of those items available in the previews catalog, and then we'll tell you a little bit more about how you can pre-order. Check it out.
Hey Previews World, Gretchen here, and floating right next to me is March's Previews catalog, available in comic shops now. Let's take a look at what's available to pre-order from your friendly local comic shop. This month, writing team Jimmy Palmiotti and Amanda Connor indulged their love of Roy Thomas's classic, Red Sonja. It's the invincible Red Sonja illustrated in the way that only Moritat can. And if you flip your previews over, you'll see the hit horror series is back in all its gory glory. From Donny Cates and Gary Brown, Baby Teeth returns. The DC Universe fell to the darkest night in DC Comics' 2020 event Dark Knight's Death Metal. Now, McFarlane Toys brings fans a series of 7-inch scale figures, all based on the designs of fan-favorite artist Greg Capullo. The Federation itself may fall, and Kirk's legendary run ends here. This summer, the 5-year mission comes to its end in IDW's Star Trek Year 5, a 3-part story that begins in May's issue number 22. Get ready for War of the Bounty Hunters, an upcoming Star Wars crossover event. Spearheaded by Undiscovered Countries, Charles Soule, and Civil War artist Steve McNiven, the event will tie into Marvel's entire lineup. All taking place after the events of the cinematic classic The Empire Strikes Back. Last but definitely not least, Scott Summers, aka Cyclops, is ready to join the collection of art connoisseurs with Kotobukiya's newest fine art statue. The statue's base connects to the Wolverine fine art statue, so fans can create a little immersive battle scene starring these X-Men stalwarts. There's over 500 pages of toys, games, apparel, comics, and more inside March's catalog. So dive on in. Go pick up a copy of this month's previews at your local comic shop today. Or check out all the items available to pre-order now by heading over to PREVIEWsworld.com/catalog.
And actually, I want to also point out that, yes, guys, Gretchen really is that chipper in real life. I saw someone comment on one of the old catalog videos just as on YouTube saying like, "Oh, she's trying to be like Blake Northcott," and I'm like, "No, she's not. I'm sorry, not Blake Northcott. She's Grace Randolph. I got my blondes mixed up. Sorry to all the blondes out there, but like Grace Randolph, which is this YouTube personality. And she talks a lot about comics and movies and stuff and et cetera, and like." Someone, and I don't know who it would have been. It might have been Gretchen just using an alias, but like someone in the comments was like, "No, I think she's just really that chipper." And like, yeah, she is. That's how Gretchen rolls. And you know what? Would you rather find out comic book what's available at your local comic shop any other way? I think not.
Right.
I think
some grumpy person's like, ugh.
Yeah,
more
that's
comics.
We're the grumpy people.
Right. There's no more room for grumpy people. We're occupying all of that space.
We're occupying all the space, guys.
That's the reason why I hide behind the camera. Like, so I'm just like, you don't want to see this face like selling the comic books. Like, hey, I'm old and fat, but let me give you the new and skinny. What's at your local comic shop?
Can we open the show like that? It's like, hey, I'm old and fat. Let's give you the skinny. The new and skinny.
It's a work in progress.
That was good. I like that. But anyway, sorry. Previews catalog. You can check it out the entire catalog on PREVIEWsworld.com/catalog. I know you guys, look, comic fans are tactile, right? They want the book, right? So you can go to your local comic shop and get your copy of the previews catalog today. It's available now. And all you have to do in terms of pre-order, guys, is flip to the page you want. Go to your local comic shop, point to it, all right, and just be like, "Hey, I want this. Can you order for me?" And then they'll sort out whether or not they have, what their pull and hold service requirements are, because every store is different. But yeah, all that stuff is coming out in May, and you can get all sorts of cool stuff. And as a matter of fact, one of the cool things you can get is a book called Aquarius, Book of Myr, by Afua Richardson, who's one of the creators behind. One of the creative minds who helped develop the Lovecraft Country series and a couple of other things. She's got a book in there and coming out from Image this May, and we're actually going to do an interview with her tomorrow. That'll be on the website. So definitely check that out. PREVIEWsworld.com/catalog. All right. So I think we've got issues now, don't we? Always. We got subscriptions, as my buddy John used to say. So I'm gonna give it over to Ashton, and we're gonna do a little "We've Got Issues," and we're gonna talk about a subject that has lit the internet on fire this last couple of days. Let's go.
I disagree.
Okay, so last week, a nerd community favorite conversation about gatekeeping found its way back to the surface again. So now we find ourselves discussing gatekeeping and its plausibility yet again. So we have taken it to social media, as we always do, and asked you guys for your input, your thoughts on gatekeeping and how you define it. So let's jump in and see what you had to say. Brian says, gatekeeping is childish. From what I've seen, it's mostly people are so desperate to feed their self-esteem that they have to denigrate others so they feel better about themselves. Bastich Brigade. Oh my God. I don't know why that happened to me.
Yeah, Bastich Brigade. Apparently he's a Lobo fan. Yes.
All right. I welcome new fans into any hobby of mine as long as they have a genuine interest in it. If they don't like it to begin with and just want to force it to become something more in line with their tastes, I'll ask them to piss off. Which is valid. Oscar says, "You shall not pass." Or so they think.
I'm sure they think so. Yep.
Benjamin asks, "Are you the key master?" Darren says, "Gatekeeping starves a hobby or interest. Everyone's got to start somewhere." Sarah says, I hate gatekeeping and it's a big issue in fandom.
And so this is actually the original post.
Mm-hmm.
And like, I mean, you can find it online. Like, this is the post that basically started this entire debate. And I thought it was really interesting. Like, we talk about people getting ratioed on the internet, right? And so what people mean by that is like, you have to look at like the number of tweets versus the number of quote tweets versus the number of likes, right? And so 19.6 thousand people quote tweeted him, more than likely calling this guy a jerk, right?
Yeah.
3,464 people actually co-signed this guy's jerkness. And I'm sorry, Johnny, can you bring it up back up real quick? And so I just wanted to real quick just kind of get through what this says. He's like, basically, this guy, I guess, was an anime fan. And I guess he's trying to be an anime gatekeeper. And he's like, if all your common knowledge of anime is Demon Slayer, Naruto, Inuyasha, Bleach, One Piece, Fate, Dragon Ball Z, Sailor Moon, Gundam, My Hero Academia, Yu-Gi-Oh!, and Ghost in the Shell, then you're not an anime fan. And normally stay out of anime. So, yes, this started a whole just like a snowball effect on the internet where they just really got into it. Ashton, I'm going to ask you what you think gatekeeping is and why do you think, and what do you think of it?
Okay, sure. So I would define gatekeeping as kind of setting these standards of knowledge that kind of dictate whether or not you can be considered a fan of something. And it's typically, it's a threshold that's set by other people that define themselves as fans. So from the outset, it's kind of already this arbitrary indicator. And I think it's absolute crap. It doesn't accomplish anything. Like if someone wants to like a thing that they don't already like one of these comments point out, you have to start somewhere. Like, you're not just gonna, I want to be an anime fan. Okay, now I suddenly know everything about anime. You need to start somewhere and kind of ease your way into it. So gatekeeping effectively kills its own community. If you're somebody that loves this thing and you guard it so much that you effectively kill it because you won't let anybody else enjoy it unless they're doing it by your arbitrary standards that are pointless anyway. And the thing with this particular comment or tweet is that he says, if you're only a fan of this, and goes down a laundry list of shows that amounts to hundreds of hours of content. It's like, so you've spent 500 hours watching all of this anime, but you're not an anime fan? Like, I don't understand how that makes sense.
No.
And I can't help but wonder if the flip side of that were true, you would still be in the same situation, right? Like, say you only had a taste for like obscure anime, and then someone's going to say, oh, well, you can't be an anime fan because you don't know all of these mainstream ones. So it's a zero-sum game. It doesn't accomplish anything. And my final piece of critique is, why does it matter to you? Somebody's enjoyment of a thing or them liking a thing or the extent to which they personally engage with it has absolutely no bearing on your ability to enjoy it or your knowledge of it. So it doesn't impact you. So why don't you just butt out, let that person do their own thing?
Yeah, absolutely. Actually, I will go a step further off of what you said about the original post about anime. Like, look, I guarantee you, like, first of all, this guy was clearly American. Like, we didn't show you his avatar, right? But this guy's definitely an American, right?
Yeah.
And like, I'm like, you know what? If you went to Japan, right? and like, and had this gatekeeper attitude, like, I guarantee you the Japanese anime fans would look at you like an outsider too. So, it's like this vicious cycle that you guys are trying to perpetuate. And like, it's kind of goofy. And to your point, I don't understand why the gatekeepers care. And, actually go a step further. I don't understand why the people who get upset at the gatekeepers care. Because at the end of the day, they actually have no real control over whether or not you can. Well, first of all, you shouldn't let them control whether or not you enjoy something. But second of all, they have no real control over your ability to access these things. That said, there are some people you can gatekeep against. Right? And so I made a list.
Okay, I'm ready.
So
hit me with it.
There you go, guys. Because I'm tired of all this divisiveness. I think that we should all come together and focus on the real enemy, right? And so here are people that I think collectively we can all gatekeep against who are just bad for the culture in general. Number one, rioters that wear Punisher symbols, celebrities who call superheroes fascists, journalists who paint nerds with a broad toxic fandom brush, although this guy just kind of made their point, but that's okay. People who want to discuss diversity in comics but have no concept of the history of comics, YouTubers who cover the culture war in comics but haven't read a comic since the 90s. People who argue endlessly about the Snyder Cut for or against. Creators whose comics are just screenplays wanting to get optioned. People who argue Stan Lee didn't create anything. People who want to angrily argue that Batman doesn't kill, or that Batman can kill anybody. People who want to angrily argue that Superman doesn't kill. Creators that don't respect continuity. Creators that write classic characters like they are Twitter comments. Anyone working for Bleeding Cool. Okay, I said that. I'm sorry. That's just me. And that's it. So there you go, guys. Like, that's my list. If you want to add some other people to that list, let us know in the comments. I'm sure.
It's a comprehensive list, though.
It's a comprehensive list. I gave it some thought because I was like, you know what? Look, there's a lot of people out there that just kind of like damage the conversation around fandom, right? And I'll put this guy. Yeah, I think that ultimately that's the whole. That's the ultimate gist of this entire segment is just let people enjoy things. Don't be that person. Like, life is hard enough, guys. So all right, we're getting down to it. We're at the 42-minute mark. Ashton, what is this week's poll?
All right, so this is the same poll from last week, but we're revisiting it because I thought it was cute. So I asked you guys on the Free Comic Book Day Twitter what weird and dysfunctional community you would rather be a part of between Westview and Riverdale.
Okay, and what did we get?
Give me 1 second. Let me just share.
Okay.
There we go. All right, so the results are in. So
saucy
people picked Westview over Riverdale, 67% to 33%. Yeah, the gift below is we had Doom JX say option C, Greendale.
Also valid.
Valid. Right. Holly Elliott said, I could handle the weirdest things happening in Westview. Don't think I could handle Riverdale. Ashton, I haven't watched Riverdale in a while. What the hell is going on over there?
Bro, nothing good. Hiram is like defunding and unincorporating.
It's a rhetorical question. I don't really care.
Okay.
And Laura says, I'm Westview. In Westview, I wouldn't have free will, so it's Riverdale for me. So there we go.
Yeah. I can understand that. I mean, I was going to pick Riverdale anyway, just because I feel like Riverdale, you would just be endlessly entertained. Like, it's just always like the drama of the day is something weird and completely unrealistic. And at least you could participate. Whereas in Westview, it's just like you're kind of beholden to certain demands.
Right. Yeah. By the whim of Agatha Harkness and or the Scarlet Witch or maybe Mephisto.
Oh, yes. We didn't talk about that. Mephisto. You and I, Troy, we talked about this online briefly, but I still think that Mephisto is somehow going to play a part. And I think that if anything, if he doesn't actually show up as like the big bad villain, he'll probably show up. And I said this to you on Twitter, on Facebook. He's going to show up as like the quote unquote shadowy figure that's lurking at the very end, similar to how Thanos showed up at the end of the first Avengers film.
I think that's a valid option. I would also go for Baron Mordo, who, as if you recall, at the end of Doctor Strange was like, no more magic.
Too many magicians.
Too many more magicians. One too many magicians. So, yeah, I think there's a bunch of actually kind of cool, interesting stuff that we could do here. Ash is laughing at us being Marvel nerds. Whatever. Quiet over there, Riverdale. Be quiet.
Too many magicians. Like, the magicians are out of hand.
They are. I mean, it's a real thing. Like, there's the existence of magic is a problem in the Marvel universe.
Have you ever been to the magic convention in Las Vegas? It's just too many magicians.
Too many magicians. I'm hoping that like we see Baron Mordo like behead David Blaine, like like maybe he goes back in time with the Infinity Stone and feeds not Penn and Teller. Who's the guy who died? Who is a tiger? His tiger.
Siegfried and Roy.
Oh, man,
oh, come on! It's been a couple of years now. It's fair game.
I just want to see the WandaVision tie into the Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, and just have them like walk through like the nexus of all realities and just film it like an episode of Cribs. Yeah, like this is where all the magic happens, and it's literally magic happening everywhere,
just everywhere. Like, hey, and then I want Exhibit to be there too. Actually, I like for some reason. No, I'm sorry. Exhibit did the other show. He did the car show.
He did that Pimp My Ride, didn't he?
Pimp My Ride. There you go. Yeah.
All right, we got to move on.
We got to move on. Anyway, and we broke Ashton, which I think means this show has been a rousing success. Ashton, do you think you can make it through our comic shop shout out this week?
Yeah. This week's comic shop shout out goes to the comic book shop in Ottawa, Ontario, Canada. They're fantastical for books, collectibles, all that great merchandise. And this comes from our friend Mark. If you want us to shout out your comic book store, find us on social media, tag your shop. If not, just leave, if they don't have a handle, just leave their name and use the hashtag support your LCS. We will find your store and we will shout them out on the show and give them some love.
All right, okay. And all right, I think I've offended enough people this week, so I'm gonna call it a day. Hey, if you're still watching the show and you're not offended by, and you're not on that, you need a hug, Troy. I guess so. Apparently, I've gone really dark this episode. I don't know.
Who hurt you?
I guess so. I don't know. Maybe I'm just hungry. I don't know. I've been thinking about pizza like this all these last 45 minutes, so that might be it. Anyway, if you were on the list of people that you could gatekeep again, then you should probably like, follow, and subscribe to Previews World on YouTube. So definitely make sure you do that. We have content that goes up every single day, Monday through Friday. I guess that's not every single day. We have content that goes up Monday through Friday, sometimes Saturday, depending on how I feel. And yeah, check us out. Like, we got a lot of cool stuff, including the Todd McFarlane interview that we mentioned earlier, which you can definitely watch right after this show. Also, we got upcoming the panel. We're going to be talking, speaking of WandaVision, about Tom King and Gabriel Hernandez Walter's Vision book, which was believed to be the inspiration for the show at first, but now it seems like it's one of the many stories within the Marvel universe and within the 616 that inspired WandaVision. Regardless, it should be a fun one. We've got some people lined up at Animia always hosts, so definitely keep an eye on that. That'll be in the next couple of weeks, and that'll be in March. And also our Black History Month section. Look, February's about to wrap up, guys. So if you haven't checked it out yet, I see people all the time saying like, "Oh, there's no Black creators in comics, and there's no this in comics, no Black characters in comics, and no this." And that. It's not true, and I really need you guys to stop saying that, because that is actual erasure. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's a problem. And so actually, when I was talking about people who discuss diversity, I might be talking about you, because here's the thing. Plenty of creators have come into the industry and have done things that should be celebrated, and that's what our Black History Month section is for, celebrating those people, new and old. So definitely check that out. It's at PREVIEWsworld.com/Black History Month. It's up right now, and then next month will be Women in Comics Month, so we'll definitely talk more about that in the coming weeks. And that's it. So that's it for Previews World Weekly, guys. Thank you, DJ. Thank you. Take care of yourself, my man. And hey, guys, I've been Troy Jeffrey Allen.
I'm Ashton Greenwood.
And we will catch you guys at the spinner rack. See you next time.
Don't forget that you can catch Previews World Weekly streaming live every Wednesday at 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific at Previews World on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch.
Too many magicians.